Well, I highly regret not watching this movie in theaters. So Godzilla Minus One is not a sequel to the Monsterverse, but an iteration of the giant radioactive dinosaur distributed by Toho, who have done several classic Godzilla films in the past. Designs look vastly different from the Hollywood Zilla. You can almost see, without even watching the films, a difference in the tone and adaptation Toho loves taking compared to the Monsterverse. Now, personally, I haven't dug at all to the company's filmography, but taking words from other folks, they've hit mostly out of the park with their adaptations. But my feelings and mood for these monster films after watching Kong vs. Godzilla was immensely destroyed, and I simply whizzed past watching Minus One in theaters. With Netflix getting the thumbs up to release the film on their streaming platform in North America, I was locked and loaded. The movie couldn't have been watched for a while without pirating, and now with being on Netflix, I wanted to watch it ASAP, and so I did. And how I view these monster films in an entirely different light. Like, you come out a different person after watching this film. So far, I view these films as, big animals beating the living crap out of each other and destruction. Because from someone not watching the classic Zilla films and being more surrounded with the Hollywood versions of these kaiju characters, so after my experience with Minus One, I have to say,
hot diggity dog!
Not being a big fan of Godzilla or kaiju in general, Godzilla 2014 was my first look at the big dinosaur. Now, not surprisingly, I fairly enjoyed that film. The monster scenes kicked absolute ass. Unfortunately, the characters felt awfully too generic, and I could just simply care less about them. But I love the dark atmosphere and tone, and Godzilla destroying Chinatown, and the end fight between the Mutos and killing the female Mutos because Godzilla had bad breath. The film was a nice kickstart despite the lack of competent and compelling characters to follow around. It was a key area that lacked any substance. The films following Godzilla unfortunately kept hitting the wall with the human stories to the point I've completely tuned out of this franchise because they just kept becoming the main focal point. And I can see the appeal, but seeing Godzilla get into the Suplex City spin cycle, it's fun, I guess. Or infuse myself and feel the need to catch up. Early on, I loved the monster part, seeing Ghidorah fighting Godzilla. Although the monsters felt serious early on, at least in the franchise, the human characters were just filler to prolong the film with zero personality, morale, nor clever motivation to get behind. Now, people were telling me to watch Minus One. You will love it. It's different, and I kid you not, the first scene, it hits you, like literally, the moment this poor fellow shines a light, Godzilla goes rampant and tears everyone on the beach. It sets the tone quickly, as right after, it's nothing but grim and sadness. Yet there's that very slight of hope. Now, the reason why I'm comparing the two giant beasts is because I was more familiar with 2014 Godzilla. I mean, hey, in that film, every scene feels like an out-of-world dinosaur ready to fuck shit up. I love that. Gave Godzilla his own character and became sort of an anti-hero in that film. Now in the new Monsterverse films, it feels like superheroes, not monsters. Like, these guys just go around suplexing or Superman punching each other, not really that monster fight with that behavior I adored in the earlier films. Minus One, Godzilla achieves this very well. He walks slowly, but each step is an impact, with the mean looking face and the rigid design which works perfectly with the tone of this film. Even the use of the atomic bad breath that Godzilla spews is an audible buildup. He charges up, and for a split second, it's quiet until the giant missile out of his breath, destroying every single building in its way. Just to derail a bit off the comparison convo, this film had $10 to $50 million attached to it. When you hear those numbers, it's crazy. The film is better than most $100 million films nowadays. And it's a World War II setting, so a lot of the film has to create realistic sets to support that reality. Oh yeah, and Godzilla is wreaking havoc post-World War II. A lot of the film's production has to do with the fact that VFX workers unfortunately don't get as much paid as they do in America. Hence the low budget and the director wanting to reduce the VFX team to in-house instead of outsourcing to third-party companies, which costs more. As stated earlier, what differentiates between the Monsterverse films and Minus One is you actually care for the human stories. All have various personal growth and hurdles they must overcome. Even the rookie has his moment, and not a lot was on him when we first see him in the crew. And unfortunately, I probably will butcher some of these names, but I'll try my best. Koichi is a kamikaze pilot. He's on an island with various engineers and mechanics. One night, the sudden tremble of the island instigates everyone as the light shines on the very monster whom will terrorize many in this film. The lack of firepower experienced mechanic suggests Koichi to man the 20mm gun in hopes to kill it, but his fear coming from the war to now, he trembles at the sight of Godzilla, resulting in many mechanics being killed except for the lead Tashinbana, who scolds Koichi for not firing the weapon. This dude swallows bombs and eats them, but in context, it's completely understandable, losing all your men because one man decided to cower out, where you're the only one left on that team and you're the leader. He returns home to his village, which has been completely bombarded and in ruins. His family has perished, as well as his his neighbor Sumiko, who lost her sons in the bombardment, and he had to do is constantly labeled as a coward who deserves no sympathy. But one fateful moment where he runs into a woman with a child, not hers, as she sort of adopted the child as the mother passed away during that very bombardment. Noriko is taken by Koichi to provide support for her and the child, as both share a similar situation of losing their families during the entire attack. They connect, they grow, they learn. Even Noriko develops feelings for Koichi, who on the flip side views himself as a simple support, as he takes on a risky job with the other three folks who have vastly different personalities, which I absolutely love. They're tasked to clean up the water from the mines set during the war, but just like many great things must come to a halt, as Godzilla haunts the ocean, making his way towards Ginza, I think I pronounced that right, and obliterates the entire city, killing thousands, and Noriko, who recently received a job off within that very city, unfortunately presumably meets her fate as she sacrificed herself, which ignites Koichi to overcome his fears and confront Godzilla head on, insisting a second plan in case sinking Godzilla beneath under the ocean, killing him with the amount of pressure. A nail in the coffin, Godzilla's ability to overcome the first plan, as everyone involved weren't able to accomplish it. Koichi, who received support from even Tashinabe, his hand stops trembling and shoots his plane into the mouth of Godzilla, exploding the giant beast into pieces across the ocean. A very great scene where we learn that Tashinabe, who's reconciled with Koichi, implemented an injection system, saving the man who at the start was trembling to fire his gun to now willing, sacrificing himself to save Japan. He's gained respect amongst everyone, and good news for him as Noriko survived the demolition of Ginza. The film was such a fine character work. I didn't expect myself to root against Godzilla. I wanted everyone on that boat to succeed. They've even accomplished Godzilla being the antagonist, having us relate and connect with Koichi or the rookie, because we've all wanted to feel some sort of importance despite minimal experience or the quest to overcome your fear. The nice symbolism of Koichi's growth was his hand. At the start, it's very constant trembling. At the second confrontation, is very steady trembling, but he still fired that very gun. When he's open to sacrifice it all to save Japan, his hand stops shaking as he's overcame his obstacles, and in the end, he gained treasuring respect amongst his peers. Man, I highly recommend watching Godzilla Minus One on Netflix. It's truly one of the best monster films I have ever seen. There's personal stories which does not bore you and make you feel disinterested. Godzilla is treated as an actual killing machine, a threat to the entire world, due to the effects of the war. Toho executed the plan of constructing Godzilla to be the main antagonist, which the movie excelled in executing the premise for you to root against the big dinosaur. If you enjoy the MonsterVerse, don't take this video as a dig whatsoever. Just personally, I have launched myself not caring for the universe, but I might actually visit Toho's Godzilla films and that entire catalog. I'll just probably skip on Emmerich's Godzilla. That looks more like a Gigantosauros. 2023 was filled with a lot of great films after a long time. Minus One being in that thumbs up crew. I just wish I saw it in IMAX in theaters, because holy fuck. That's it for me. So yeah, see you on the next one.